Hey everyone, welcome to the Align Your Life show. Thanks so much for being here. We're here every Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Jenny Parks. I'm a health and prosperity coach, and I assist people with weight loss, energy performance, healthy aging, all that good stuff. The Align Your Life show is all about empowering people with living a life of enrichment and bringing you tips that serve your greater good and well-being. Jennifer Malins is back today. Yay! Jennifer is a certified integrative nutrition coach, heart math coach, and author of the book Soul Destination. She's typically here every second Wednesday of the month, unless we mess the schedule up, which I've done a few times. But she's here today, so welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always so fun when you're here. Today we thought we would talk about surviving the holidays, and not actually just surviving, but thriving through the holidays. Because I don't know about you, but I've already heard people dreading the holiday season, talking about how much weight they're going to gain, how stressed out they're going to be, all the stuff they have to do. And we're not even to Halloween yet, people, so let's just take it down a notch. Let's not put that out there just yet, right? So I think one of the biggest things to remember, and I tell myself this every year, and I actually start to do it when fall is starting to come in, because fall is my favorite time, as it is a lot of people's. But what I always find myself doing after, all the leaves are off the tree and we're in winter, I'm looking back going, where did fall go? And so, I've just really been trying to ground myself and being really present as much as possible, really looking at everything around me and all the beauty out there. And I think the same thing should be done throughout the holiday season too. Just really getting grounded in the present moment and not everything that we have to do. Right? So what are some thoughts? I think, of course, the whole body, mind, spirit thing has to be addressed because it's all connected even through the holiday season. And let's start with food, because that's a really big one for people. And I think that people are already thinking they're going to gain 8 and 10 pounds, because that's what happens every year. And then, and it doesn't have to happen. So there are a lot of good things you can do to negate that and to really just maybe you can even lose a little weight. Hey, you never know.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said, people assume they're going to gain 8 or 10 pounds. If you go into the holidays with that assumption that I'm going to gain weight, and then after the holidays, at the new year, that's when I'm going to start being healthy, I'm going to hit the gym. I mean, it's no surprise that gyms they're busy. They get the most enrollments in January. Because everyone has their New Year's resolution, and then people usually fall off the wagon within a month or so of making that resolution or starting that resolution. So it's really important, rather than, prevention is a lot easier than treatment. So it's a lot easier for Jen and I to work with someone who's wanting to prevent and front load themselves with tools for the holidays, rather than coming to us after the holidays saying, oh, I gained 10 or 12 pounds over the holidays and now I need to lose it. Why not start arming yourself with tools before the holidays? Go in with the idea that I'm going to at least maintain my weight or lose it if I need to, rather than saying, oh, I'm going to gain weight, I know I'm going to binge, this is just what's going to happen, and I'll worry about it afterwards. Because then you're setting yourself up for failure and for just a really rough road.
Well, and it's typically a vicious cycle too. It's like, how many times have we done this before? So why don't we not do that this time? But one of the things that always strikes me about that conversation that people have with themselves around food is that they are looking so forward to the meals and to the parties and to the cocktails and to all the food. But I mean, that's available to us every single day. So, if you love it that much, have a little bit here and there now. Don't gorge on it one day, or one evening throughout the month or something like that. And also, a lot of people will say that there's, maybe they have a party to go to in the evening, they're going to save up for that meal, so they're not going to eat all day. That's something else that you got to change that mentality around food. This isn't about the food, number one. So really ground yourself in just first of all considering what this is all about, what the season is all about. Getting together with family, being present with them. Yes, food is going to be there, but let's not make that the focus.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because if you think about it, if we delve into the psychology of eating, which I do with so many of my clients, let's talk about why we tend to gorge over the holidays. Like, what does that feeling mean? So many of my clients overeat, for example, not just during the holidays, but all the time. What feeling do you have when you overeat, besides indigestion? What psychological feeling do you have? And it's like, well, it's the feeling of having enough, the feeling of abundance, the feeling of filling some kind of void. It's like, okay, there you hit the nail on the head. So what can you do all throughout the year, including the holidays, to fill that sense of void? Well, one thing is, a really big thing is if you're focusing on family and the people around you in community, which is why we inhale all that food, or that's part of it, is because we're so busy texting and emailing and working and doing our to-do list that we don't take the time to really connect with people. And the holiday sometimes is the only time that we sit down and truly connect and celebrate. Or if you're incorporating more of this throughout your life in general, and you don't just save it up for the holidays, but you slow down your life overall and take the time to connect with people, then you won't feel such a void. And another way to not have that feeling of a void or not having enough is to take time to fill it from within. So if you're seeking, even though family, friends, relationships, connections, that's very healthy and really important, if you focus on the external for filling some kind of void, and you don't focus on filling it from within with your own resources, then you probably will always feel some kind of emptiness. And so meditation is really important all the time, but especially during the holidays, especially when you're busy, you need to meditate more, not less. Absolutely. And just walking some kind of spiritual path.
I love every single thing that you just said. And it's so true. We do stuff a lot with food.
Right.
And we have gotten away from the fact that what we said before, food is meant to fuel our body and to energize our body. And, not to satiate our emotional distress or stress that we're carrying around. So making that connection sometimes can be the first step, and just understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And, maybe you don't know exactly what it is that you're stuffing, but you're acknowledging that you're stuffing something.
Right.
And some of those other things that you're mentioning can kind of assist you with transitioning over into just a new dialect with yourself, really, around food. And I love what you said, too, about sitting down and connecting, like eat with intention.
Right.
Eat with empowerment, not just to inhale all the food and to, fill the hunger or the void, but really think about each bite and connect and have conversation with the people that you're sitting down with.
Yeah, so you're talking about really mindful meditation in terms of turning it into an eating meditation. And, something I always tell people is, and this is what I do for myself, too, because there are certain things like yeast rolls. Oh, God. Everyone has their holiday food that they just cannot live without, and they tend to gorge on. And for me, as a kid, I would eat 10 yeast rolls. And then I'd have a little bit of vegetables so my mom wouldn't yell at me, and no turkey because I hate turkey. And then I'd have a plate full of yeast rolls. My grandma's yeast rolls. They were awesome. I don't know if you have a favorite holiday food.
I can't even think of one right now. I'm sure there's something.
Oh, well, yeast rolls, bam, that comes to mind. And so what I do now is I'll allow myself to have 2 yeast rolls, maybe 3. Depends how much I exercised earlier that day. But then instead of inhaling them like we typically do when we eat something that we really like, is I take each bite and really savor it. So if you don't take the time, your tongue has all kinds of, certain parts of the tongue feels, will taste salty, others will taste sweet, etc. If you don't take the time to really taste your food, you'll end up feeling like there's a lack, and then you eat even more. And then turning this into some kind of meditation where you're connecting with other people at the same time, you could talk about the food, talk about the taste that you're experiencing with the yeast rolls, for example, and how much you like it and all the memories. So if you slow down and you actually talk about it, you won't feel the need to just keep inhaling and inhaling the food.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to take a break, but real quick, one of the things, I read this somewhere recently, someone was talking about making a list of some of your favorite foods that are just, like food you really just want to stuff your face in throughout the holidays for whatever reason, because usually what that's doing is triggering a memory, a tradition, something that made you feel good in the past, and that's why you enjoy it so much now. So maybe it's your grandma's yeast rolls, maybe it's your hot chocolate, maybe it's your aunt's pie, whatever it is. Make a list of those things, and then just really make it a point to have some of those things throughout the year or throughout the season, so that when it's in front of you that one time on that one day, of the season, you're not feeling like you have to eat it all right then and there because it's never coming back again. I thought that was kind of a cool tip. You reminded me of it. Yeah,
that's really good. I like that.
So we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back, and we'll keep talking about thriving through the holidays, not just surviving. Be right back.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
You know, when Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Welcome back to the Align Your Life show here with Jennifer Malins, and we're talking about thriving through the holidays, not just surviving. We've been talking a lot about food. I think that's the biggest one for a lot of people, because that can really kind of bleed into, it can bring on the stress and all of that, and you know, you're already thinking about what you're going to do that you're going to be mad about at yourself about later, things like that. So I want to get off the food, but I do have a few other tips for just not gorging, and I think one of the important things too is to just really make sure that you remember that if you know, I don't know, maybe you have an office holiday party and somebody brings cookies and you have a cookie, and now we tend to think, oh, the whole day is ruined. I should probably just have 7 more cookies and then I'll, you know, go eat whatever I want for dinner or whatever. And again, just kind of changing that mentality around how you're thinking about food and enjoying what's in front of you right now and not worrying about what you're going to have later until later comes and then deal with it then. You know?
Well, there's a Janine Roth. I don't know
Love
if you...
her. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember this quote, because what you said just reminded me of this quote that I think is brilliant. So Janine Roth used to be very overweight, and then she lost the weight. But a lot of that was through understanding the psychology behind what she was eating. And she has this great quote. She says, if you're going to eat in front of the fridge, at least pull up a chair.
Ah!
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that is funny.
You know? So if you're going to eat something that you feel is a bad food, then at least enjoy it.
Savor it and enjoy it.
Don't hide and, like, you know,
be
embarrassed about it. Just eat it slowly, savor it, and enjoy it.
Yeah,
I love
it's all
that
about,
quote.
I mean, it's all about just moderation, you know. It's not about completely depleting these things that we call bad out of our life. It's just having them, you know, sometimes and not all the time. What was something else? You were talking... Every year I go to a cookie party that a really good friend of mine hosts, so it's a tradition.
Sounds fun.
So I mean, there might be 12 or 15 people there, and you bake, you know, a dozen cookies or however many people are there, and then you swap. So you go home with that same amount. So if there's 15 people, you go home with 15 dozen cookies.
Wow.
So what I do is, you know, of course I want to try them all, and I do. But then I give them all away almost immediately, because I know if I keep them, even if I put them in the freezer, if I keep them in the house, I'm going to be tempted and I'm probably going to eat them. So I will just immediately give them away. You know, I would take them to work or give them to friends, whatever. But, you know, think about things like that, too, where I know that if I do that, that's setting a trap for myself.
Right.
So I'm just not going to do that, you know. So kind of thinking ahead of time, too, when you're faced with situations like that. Because I love to bake. But I don't want to eat it all. I mean, I do, but
you have to get an accomplice, right?
Yeah,
to share it with you,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, another thing that just what you said triggered. So my dad loves pecan pie. Pecan pie is one of the worst things you can eat. If you know the ingredients in it, it has corn syrup and just like terrible ingredients. And so we were having a July 4th party. So again, big celebration when people tend to overeat. So for my dad, 'cause he's like, are you going to make pecan pie? I'm like, heck to the no. Then I thought, well, I can just make a healthy alternative or a healthy variation of pecan pie. So I got out this vegan cookbook and I found this raw pecan pie that tastes way better than regular pecan pie. My dad loved it.
Yeah.
And so that's something you can do, is make a healthier variation of your favorite holiday food that's just really tempting, and then bring that to the party with you.
Yes.
And then eat that. And so that's another thing that you can do to help curb those temptations somewhat.
And eat something good before you go.
Yes.
I mean, just because there's going to be a big meal served, I always do that.
Me
I
too.
never go to a
Me
party
too.
hungry, because I know that if I do, I'm going to eat everything, in front of me.
Yeah.
So I always eat before I go, and then that way I'm not tempted to eat as much because I
Right.
don't have as much room. And I don't hang around the buffet line either, because then you're just, munching, and you never know how much you're munching
Right.
until later on when you're feeling like you're busting out of your pants. And then next
Right.
week you have gained 5 pounds.
And like you said earlier, focus on the people and not the food, because that's what you're really there
That's
for.
what you're there for, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some other, let's talk about, I know for myself sometimes, I actually just faced this recently where I had a gathering to go to, and I wasn't necessarily looking forward to the gathering, but I felt obligated to go. Which, we could probably talk about why I felt obligated to, but that's a whole other show. But, already in my mind I'm thinking, I don't really want to go, and it's not, I already know how this person's going to act, and I don't really like to be in their presence, and then it triggers me, and then I'm in a bad mood. And so I had this whole story going on in my head already before I'd even gone about how it was going to go. But I caught myself. So, that's a first, because usually I don't. And then it goes exactly the way that I've thought that it was going to go. But I caught myself this time, and I thought, it's just going to be great. I'm going to go. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be around these people that I do love. I'm going to, spend my time there. And just changed my whole thought process around it. And I went, and it was a blast. I had a ball. And, it was not a stressful situation by any means. So, I think that mindfulness around the thoughts and the stories that we're telling ourselves, and the fact that we're living in the future in a lot of situations too. Especially, sometimes holidays being around family and people that maybe you just have had issues with in the past, or you bumped heads with in the past.
Bring out the worst in you,
Yeah.
I think just that triggered something else too, another thought, going back to the meditation. I mean, when you said I don't usually catch myself at this time, I did. I mean, that's what meditation helps you do over time. Like, sometimes people meditate for a week and they say, I didn't notice any changes, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Like most holistic alternative modalities, you need time.
Absolutely.
You may notice just tiny minute changes after doing it for months and months, but it is worth it. And it helps you, like you said, you caught yourself. You caught yourself in that negative eddy of thinking, and you were able to turn the other way, and you ended up having a really good time. Same thing with just the holidays in general. Now is the time to meditate more. If you think about, whether you're Jewish or you're Christian, I mean, those are kind of the main holidays that I believe we would celebrate in this area. Think about what your holiday is really about. It's not about buying a bunch of presents. It's not about making a bunch of food and eating a bunch of food and going to a million parties, which is what people do associate the holidays with. But it's really about your particular faith or spiritual path. And even if you're not Christian, it still can feel hustle and bustle. Or if you're not Jewish or you don't have a particular holiday you're celebrating at this time, just the atmosphere can be really stressful. The malls are packed. Everyone's kind of cranky and trying to get through the lines and rush. And so if you take that time to meditate, think about, well, what can I cut out of my life to make time for meditation? You will get through the holidays much more easily, and you'll feel that sense of true celebration and connectedness that really is what the holidays are about. And so, for example, I'm doing an event at the Playful Soul on October 28th from 6:30 to 8:30. Just wanted to make sure everyone knows about that. To teach people how to do just that. So we're going to learn a couple of heart math techniques. So they're very meditative, science-based techniques for reducing stress. And then we're going to have a really beautiful seasonal celebration that celebrates nature and includes a really, really nice meditation on Samhain, which is the beginning of the Celtic New Year, which means summer's end. So really celebrating and meditating on that change of seasons and slowing down rather than speeding up, which is what most people do, is to really kind of dial that back.
Yeah, I love that you're doing that at the Soul too. Such a great place, but also just taking it back to nature, because we talk about that a lot, how we're part of nature. But when we're surrounded by all the hustle and bustle and the newspaper ads and the internet ads and the TV commercials and everybody running around, it's easy to get sucked into that if you're not mindful enough to say, I'm not going to bring my own energy to this. And that's really what you're going to help people with. We have to take another quick break, but we come right back. Let me start that over. When we come back, we'll continue talking about some other tips to thrive through the holiday season and not be so stressed. Be right back.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
You know, when Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Align Your Life show here with Jennifer Malins, and we're talking about thriving through the holidays. One of the things that you were talking about earlier, and what came to my mind when I was talking about going to a place where I felt obligated to go, I was thinking I should take my own advice here, because another tip that I have is really be specific about who you're going to invest your time in this holiday season, because you know you're probably going to get a lot of invitations to a lot of different things, and there are some things that you're just not going to be able to go to, or don't want to go to, or aren't going to really lift you up, and that's what this is all about. And so don't put yourself in those situations where you're not going to feel fulfilled and lifted. You know, so you can say no. It's perfectly fine. I'm giving you permission.
So you can say yes to something else. You can say yes to self-care.
Absolutely. Yeah, put yourself on the schedule. You mentioned earlier about meditation and finding some things to do for yourself throughout the holiday season. Make sure that when you're putting your list together and you're putting on your schedule all of these parties, you're putting you on there too. And I would suggest doing at the very least one thing every single day that you just like to do, you know, and maybe it's not meditation or something like that, but it's just something that feeds your soul in a way, something that you really like to do. You had something to share out of that book. We were talking about body image and things like that. At the break, you know, I had mentioned to her that I know for me in the past, one of the stressful parts of the holiday season, if I have a party or something to go to, is finding the dress, or what am I going to wear, or is it going to fit, or am I going to like it, or am I going to be comfortable? And, you know, lately, for me, it's just really been all about comfort when I dress, because I do just want to be comfortable. I don't really care if I have on the sequin dress that everybody else is going to be wearing. Like, you know, if I'm underdressed, overdressed, whatever, it's just going to be about me being comfortable. And that's okay, too. I think body image is a big issue for people, especially through the holidays, because they feel like they're going to be seen. Well,
so I've been reading May Cause Miracles by Gabrielle Bernstein.
She's amazing.
And this morning, so I just read a little bit every morning. I think you and I both read something inspirational every day. It's just how we start our morning. And this morning, it happened to be about body image. I thought, well, isn't this perfect considering what we're doing for the show later today? So I wanted to read a little bit from this. So she writes that the ego cannot comprehend the concept of the body as a learning device. The ego has convinced us that our body is who we are. We've identified with our ego perception of being fat, tall, short, black, white, crippled, sick, and so on. The ego compares the body to other bodies. The ego wants us to use the body to get more from the world, whether it's sex, money, or success. Worst of all, the ego convinces us to be afraid of the body. And she says that we are actually here on this earth in our body to transcend our fear of the world and communicate the lessons of love. So what a beautiful thing to remember this holiday season. Instead of, oh my gosh, I'm too big for these clothes and I'm gaining even more weight because of the holiday, is really look at your body as a learning tool so that you can spread love in the world, which is what the holiday season is all about. So.
Well, and you know, one thing to remember too, I think, you know, we can all identify with having those thoughts. For me, it's always been my legs are too short or my torso's too long, or, you know, I have no waist, I'm square like a boy, you know, whatever. So it's these stories that you tell yourself when you're really the only one that cares about any of that. No one else that you're with is concerned about how you look and what you're wearing.
Probably don't even notice.
Yeah, everyone else is just wanting to enjoy that time with you. So, you know, start out trying to enjoy that time with yourself first. I love what she said about the ego because, you know, really this is just a vessel. This is not who we are.
Right.
We identify with this body as who we are, but it's not who we are. When we leave this world, this doesn't go with us.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to get that book. May Cause Miracles?
May Cause Miracles by
really
Gabrielle
cool.
Bernstein.
Love
Yeah,
that.
and I love that you're talking about the ego. The ego is also what tells you, we already have one cookie, might as well have seven more.
Yeah.
The ego is really, really, really tricky. It's kind of like that really intelligent baby on Family Guy. Do you know what I'm talking about? He looks to have kind of a football-shaped head. And so he's a baby, but he's like a genius. That's kind of what your ego is like. It's like a child, but brilliant and very cunning and conniving. And so you have to, meditation again, and slowing down and doing some reflection and work on yourself inside will help you realize, ego, that's just you talking. I don't need to listen to you.
Absolutely.
You're into your self-preservation right now, and I'm into personal growth, which the ego doesn't like. So learning how to listen to that's really key.
And the more that you talk back to the ego, the quieter it tends to become.
Yes.
I think a good thought too is to have an anchor word. I do that with a lot of different things in my life, but you know, maybe pick an anchor word right now that really transmits to you what you would like the holiday season to be like for you. So that when you find yourself diverting off of the path that you would like to be on, you can anchor yourself with that word and just remind yourself, bring yourself back and ground yourself.
Absolutely.
Back to that space.
And I think another way to really get in touch with that idea of, you know, discerning between the ego and your higher self and really being able to adhere to your idea of the anchor word is, I'm going to propose something really radical. Instead of gorging over the holidays, fast instead. Yes. I'm not saying fast the whole holiday season. I mean, you need to eat, but maybe pick one day a week where you're going to fast and you're just going to drink vegetable juice or broth and you're just going to eat a really, really low calorie diet that day and always feel a little bit hungry. Because not only does it help give your body a break and help you detox, which, you know, Jenny does this with her clients on a regular basis. She does nutritional cleansing, but it also helps you, it brings you to a more meditative state. And I like to meditate on hunger. So I'm feeling hungry throughout the day because I'm not eating as much as I normally do. It gives you that time, because you're not cooking, to reflect on maybe how other people in the world never have enough to eat. And so instead of overeating, why don't we eat less and use that extra time that we're not having to prepare so much food to donate our time at a homeless shelter or make a warm meal that you like to eat and instead turn around and give it to a homeless person on the street.
That is awesome. What a beautiful note to end on. That's perfect. I love that. And there's always all kinds of ways to serve you know, throughout the holidays and not. We need any, reach out and you'll find them. So let's, we are running a little bit behind, but let's real quick talk about what you have coming up at the Playful Soul. And then I know that you have another place that you're teaching, because you also do a lot of teaching. So let's talk about all that.
Sure. So Playful Soul, again, that event is going to be all about working on your inner self, and it's a beautiful seasonal meditation and celebration that's going to be held on October 28th from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Playful Soul in Broad Ripple. If you want more information about it, you can either call the Playful Soul or you can email me at jennifer@bellybrain.org. Then the following Wednesday, so that's a Wednesday evening, the following Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a talk in Carmel. It's a free talk on how to front load yourself with tools for the holiday season. So pretty much what Jenny and I are talking about today. It's going to be a physical therapist that I'm working with, and we're both going to give tips regarding the holiday season. And then this has nothing to do with health or wellness, but I do also teach English as a second language. I'm just a teacher all around. I love to teach. And we have a class in Noblesville at First United Methodist Church that meets every Monday and Wednesday from 9:30 to 1 a.m. And so we're getting ready to start a new class for the new year. So if you know anyone who speaks English as a second language and would like to improve their English, I just wanted to let everyone know that that class is available. They should contact us. And get started next year. We serve levels 1 through, advanced level, so give us a call.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jen.
Thank you.
This weekend here in Noblesville at the Hamilton County Fairgrounds is the Holistic Health and Psychic Fair, Saturday and Sunday. It's 10 to 6 Saturday, 10 to 5 on Sunday. I'll be there. The Indie Holistic Hub will be there. A lot of great people will be there. So if you have some time and you're just curious, come on by. Self-Care for the Caregivers, a one-day workshop is coming up in January on the 23rd. There'll be more information to come, but you can contact me about that too. We'll be covering a lot of different things. A great way to enter into the new year. And that's it for us today.
Is there any admission?
No admission. Oh yeah, $10 admission to the, thank you, to the Holistic Health and Psychic Fair. But that's $10 is well spent, so you get a lot for your money. So come out and see us. But thanks so much, everyone, for being here. I'm Jenny Parks with Jennifer Malins. Find me on Facebook. I love to connect there. My email, jennyparks@alignyourlifewellness.com. I want to thank Jim Wofford, Logan Street Signs and Banners, and the Wofford Theater for always allowing us to be here with you every Wednesday. See you next time. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.